thing I hear a lot from a lot of anti-feminists and people who are critical of feminism is that feminists live in an echo chamber, supposedly, and block anyone who has a dissenting opinion to their own.
Well, that's kind of true. That's kind of how most third-wave feminists nowadays behave. Well, the vocal minority, I should say.
And people who are cited a lot when it comes to this are Steve Shives and Christy Winters, and they're used as the archetypal example of a feminist who supposedly can't take any criticism and block anyone who they disagree with.
I think it's funny you use Steve Shives as an example. I'm blocked by Steve Shives on Twitter. I don't know why. I've never communicated with the man in my life. So, why would he feel it necessary to block me when we have had no interaction whatsoever?
And I think you have to look at the wider picture when it comes to a lot of these feminists, because you have to look at why they're so prone and so quick to block people.
Because they can't handle a dissenting opinion, or when someone's arguments are based in scientific fact and it refutes theirs, proves them wrong, they can't handle it. That's one reason.
A lot of anti-feminist criticism of feminism relies on ad hominem attacks, critique of appearance, very abusive and harsh stuff in nature, certainly in the case of the two I mentioned just now. And frankly, any person would be quick to block people like that out of their lives, let alone those who happen to be feminists.
You talk about ad hominem attacks like anti-feminists are the only ones. Want proof? Take a look at this chick.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're fucking scum. You are fucking scum. Fucking rape apologist, incest supporting, woman hating, fucking scum.
Clearly, that is an ad hominem attack. Maybe, dare I say, slander? Grounds for a lawsuit, maybe?
You only have to look at the other day. A video was made about Steve Shives and his wife by Bearing, which is illustrated in the thumbnail with a picture of Shives mixed with an animal.
This is the thumbnail he's talking about. As far as I'm concerned, it looks more like a caricature to me of Steve Shives with an overbite. But I mean, the only animal it could be considered mixed with would be a beaver, which is, as a caricature, that would just be somebody with an overbite. I think he's grasping at straws.
And has some pretty offensive stuff relating to him and his wife in it, with lots of jokes against his character, with nothing to do with the actual arguments Shives has made in the past.
Character? What character? The fact that as a feminist, he provides no evidence to back up his arguments, and the evidence he does provide is dubious at best, that with any semblance of research, say 5 minutes, you can disprove most of what he says, if not all of it. That character? Or are you talking about the character that allows him to allow his wife to call him a sexist to his face without even so much as a rebuttal? Yeah, some character. As for the video, it's called satire. It's a form of comedy. Look it up. Satire. Can't say I never did nothing for you.
And when you see people sharing videos like that and liking them, and they appear on their timelines or whatever social media they're using, it's not surprising that they'd want to be blocked out by someone like Steve Shives. I mean, look at it if it was you. Would you want to have people interacting with you who openly share and enjoy mocking, cruel images of you?
Yeah, you should be fucking proud of yourself. These are the fucking men that are going to rape your sisters and the women in your life. You should be fucking ashamed.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you over being called a rapist. Sorry, but we've got more important things to worry about than hurt little feelings.
And your wife as well, or your partner, I guess. If, given what was in that Bearing video, I mean, it's not surprising that you wouldn't want to have people like that in your timeline. It's obvious they're not giving you proper criticism if they're just sharing crude images of you. And as a result, Steve Shives and Christy Winters and whoever have the right to block out those people.
The one video of Bearings that you are picking at, it's called juvenile satire. Okay? It's just juvenile sense of humor. So what? There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody's had stupid sense of humor sometimes. Some more than others.
And we need to get rid of the idea that somehow blocking someone is the same as not responding to criticism and not being able to take any form of disagreement.
Well, if y'all would stop blocking everyone that had a differing opinion than yours, it wouldn't come across that way. But until you stop it, that's how it's going to look.
Blocking people who are abusive is something that anyone can do, regardless of whether they're a feminist or not, and something that I think anyone would do if they saw the abuse on their family and criticism of appearance that we see a lot from many anti-feminists and their fans.
Abuse is never right, especially when it's directed towards someone that's not involved in the dispute. However, blocking someone that has done nothing to you is an attempt at censorship. I've done nothing to Steve Shives, and he's blocked me on Twitter. Mind you, I was blocked by him before my video went up. I was blocked by him before I even considered making the video.
It's the same with comments. I mean, there's only so long before you can want to get rid of the comments that literally just say abusive stuff about Steve Shives with nothing to do with his arguments, and we need to realise that these people have the right to do so.
It wouldn't be so bad if so many of them didn't say they wanted to have a lively discussion about the topic and then disable comments. How is someone supposed to discuss something when they are censored?
Same with, especially for people like Christy Winters, who have some pretty atrocious things said about them. I mean, we're at the point where, to use Bering as an example.
Is Bering the only anti-feminist you know of, or do you just have a raging hard-on for that cartoon bear?
He uses a crude school-like nickname for her, and creates gaudy artwork of her as well. I mean, it's not surprising that people who like those videos and who share them on their social media receive blocks, because, again, that's something that's a personal attack. That has nothing to do with any of her arguments, and if you're introducing yourself with things like that on someone's social media, she has every right to block them out.
Apparently you've never heard of insult comedy. Do a quick Google search. It's got a long history. It's not something new.
And conflating that with somehow that she can't take criticism and she doesn't know what she's talking about because she just doesn't know how to respond to disagreement is ludicrous, I think.
Again, if feminists wouldn't block anybody and everybody with a differing opinion, it wouldn't be so easy to just say, see, they can't take criticism because anybody with a different opinion, blocked, done, no discussion.
She's a PhD, she's got lots of qualifications, as does Steve Shives.
Citation fucking needed, dude. Steve Shives doesn't have a PhD. What are his qualifications?
And to imply that these people don't know what they're talking about simply because they blocked an image of them drawn by someone who has no interest of responding to anything with any semblance of nuance or reason, I find that they have every right to do that, and we shouldn't be mocking them for it.
It is not blocking an image. It is completely cutting people out of the equation, where they have no voice. That is the problem. And here I am, willing to discuss things, here trying to have some semblance of a discussion, and I can't discuss it with Steve Shives because he's blocked me, just like he blocks everybody.
If you want to criticise them, by all means do. I mean, free speech and all. And yeah, I mean, free speech means you can make mocking images of them and jokes at their expense, but then their freedom is to have the right to move these people out of their life, and only respond to criticism that's worth dealing with, and not stuff that's just attacks on them veiled with free speech.
Yes, they can block people if they harass them, attack them, abuse them, that sort of thing. But when they block people with actual, legitimate criticism, that is an attempt at censorship, that is skewing the facts, well, what facts, quote unquote, that feminists actually use. So it's not a fair assessment of the discussion when they try to silence the other side.